Today we're going to be talking about 60 FPS. What is 60 FPS? Well, it's 60 frames per second, haven't you heard? What I've been getting a lot of lately, most of it has been sarcastic, was, oh, where's the 60 frames per second video, iDubbbz? Aren't you going to upload a 60 FPS video? No, I'm not. I mean, maybe if it warrants it for some fuck-all reason, maybe if I wanted to make a comparison video to convince, peasants out there that, PC Master Race is PC Master Race, then maybe I'd have a reason to do that. But as it stands right now, there's really no reason to upload 60 FPS videos. I mean, I was watching some on YouTube and I was like, yes, it is closer to the experience of what I experience while I'm playing the game, but not so much that it would warrant twice the render time, twice the upload time, and a whole lot of wasted time. I don't think a lot of you guys realize that 1080p, well, I mean, some of you guys might realize it out there who come from, countries of not the best internet. There's some Aussies out there that probably really struggle to upload a 1080p video in a decent amount of time. I struggle to upload a 1080p video in a decent amount of time. It takes somewhere around an hour for an upload, maybe like a 8-minute 1080p video, 30 frames a second. It's an hour. Let's make it 60 frames a second. It's now 2 hours. So these times compound even still. If you're thinking about rendering time, well, rendering time, it's going to be twice the render time because you got double the frames. So if a video was before an hour to render and an hour to upload, it is now 2 hours to render and 2 hours to upload. That's 4 hours in total. You just went from 2 hours to 4 hours in a blink of an eye. I'd say the main reason that YouTube made the switch to 60 FPS is because Twitch, their competitor, has already been doing it, and I think a lot of people are noticing the difference, very easily. I just recently watched some Spelunky playthroughs, and I was like, holy shit, that's smooth, and I could see what's going on, and it's clear, and it's good, and it's crisp. Can't so much on YouTube. In games that require a lot of Twitch reactions, hence the word Twitch, they need 60 frames because there's a lot of actions per second, or at least multiple actions per second. So, overall, 30 frames, it doesn't have the same readability that 60 frames per second does. So, for most people, not going to make a fucking difference at all, especially, when you're doing games like fucking, I'll just think of one right now, Tory Bash. Does that make a lick of fucking difference? No, not really. Games that have very quick direct input, I can't really think of any. I mentioned Spelunky, but that's probably a really shitty comparison to make. Some people were mentioning like Smash Bros. Like that could make a difference. Some fighting games could make a huge difference. Maybe StarCraft? Yeah. So there are games out there that are highly justified in uploading at 60 frames. Though I think for the majority of people, 30 is just fine. And, it's a huge justification to say, oh yeah, 60 frames, double my upload, double my render speed. Yeah, that sounds great. That sounds fucking fantastic. I would love to do that. I would not love to do that. It already eats up so much time. So it makes no sense to do it for that reason mainly. And like I said before, it's entirely dependent on the video game medium. Like every other case. I can't say that fucking people who do this face cam shit were really requesting any sort of FPS increase. Did they give a shit? No, because it's a fine viewing experience at 30 frames. It's perfectly fine. As sort of an overarching theme for this video, I think it's important to note that technology needs to advance. If we want to get to the level, and we do, to the 60 FPS videos consistently where it's the norm, technology needs to advance. And what I mean when I say this isn't necessarily like, oh, GPUs need to get better or whatever. I'm talking more on the level of cable companies need to stop fist-fucking everyone. That needs to happen, I think, before anything else, because right now, upload times for me, I live in California, they should be pretty decent, compared to everywhere else in the world. South Korea, they're gonna gang rape me with their internet speeds. But the thing is, that is the biggest time drain right now. I could record something at 60 frames. I could render it at a decent time. It's going to be longer, but I could render it at a decent time. The upload will not be a decent time. It will be far from decent. One other important thing to note in the realm of technological advances is that games need to also catch up. I think a lot of people don't necessarily do it out of need, but they do it out of some fucking weird thing that's going on in their brain. And that is games like Subrosa, like fucking any Vlambeer game, Samurai Gun. They just want their games to run at fucking random frame rates, or, you know, whatever, 30. They're comfortable with 30, and they don't want it to go any higher. I can't record fucking Subrosa at 60 frames. That wouldn't happen. Fucking impossible right now. Samurai Gun, 40 frames. I mean, that game, there's nothing going on there, so it could easily run at 60. But nope, 40. That's what the frame rate for that game is going to be. So, you know, some games need to catch up. In closing, I would like to say that I will not be uploading any 60 FPS videos for the time being. Maybe sometime in the future, possibly the near future, there will be some miraculous change that makes it reasonable. Right now, it's not reasonable for the reasons I mentioned and more. Now, having said all that, thank you so much for watching. Remember, Facebook, Twitter, youtube.com/iDubbbzTV. This has been iDubbbz Complains. I should probably, like, I don't know, have a line to say at the beginning, like, hey, all you. Welcome back to another episode of iDubbbz Complaints. Today, the topic we're going to complain about is 60 FPS videos. Love them or hate them, I'm going to complain about them. Remember, Facebook, Twitter, youtube.com/iDubbbzTV, and remember to see you next time when I slip through Shaggy's scrotum.